Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Sunday, the 30th of May, 2021. Thank you for tuning in. Listen, doing some late night research last night, and it was in regards to cryptocurrencies and cryptography that would come out of the new quantum computers. Just want to know just what's going on with that. And the conclusion of the data of my research that I did last night, which was about 4 hours of studying up on it, that the first generation quantum computers are going to be very powerful. You notice I said first generation quantum computers, but they're not that exceedingly powerful where they're able to, the cryptography and the cryptocurrencies isn't able to keep ahead of them. That was my conclusion. But who's really in the line of fire, who's really going to have a problem with the new quantum computers, is a legacy banking system, because their old system, I mean, like if you take credit cards, for instance, what's your PIN number? 4 numerical digits. How hard is that to break? At any rate, they're the ones who really have the problem with the new quantum computers coming out. Not so much the digital, not so much the blockchain technology or the new digital currencies that are being created through cryptography. In other words, cryptocurrencies. And another thing I wanted to talk about today: farmers. The corporations out there, that it's all about money, guys. It's all about money. The corporations out there that make things like your automobile, well, what they're doing is, it's called planned obsolescence. It's all about money. They want to make a lot of money. They don't care about the Earth's resources. Do you know how much, to make 1 ton of steel, do you know how many gallons of water they have to use? Or waste? Just to manufacture a ton of steel? Even 1 pound of steel? And, these automobiles and stuff, they print them out like they're coming out of a printing machine. And what they want you to do is, they want you to be forced, same way with farm machinery, they want you to be forced into buying new. Continuously buying new. They don't want you to be able to repair your vehicles. Now, let me play a clip. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to see something. This automobile, it's a Chevy Cruze. And here it sits. Nothing wrong with the body. Body's in good shape. Nothing wrong with the engine. Engine's in good shape. Doesn't have very many miles on it. 2011 model. But here it sits, and it's sat here for over 2 years now. It's sat here. And you know why it's sitting here? Because the computer's all messed up in it. Farms in America. The tractors that they have to run on the farms. They're making them now so the farmers cannot do anything on the tractor. First they started with the engines. And they put electronic everything on the engines. And the farmers had to take it into the dealer to get it fixed, And that's the same problem I was running into with my car. But now everything on the tractors. They got satellite navigation systems. They got... It just, list goes on and on. They can't even start the thing. If the computer messes up, or these specialized computer systems that have to be installed software that's proprietary, they're working all these things in. And what they're doing is making it harder and harder if anything goes wrong. I mean, what could go wrong? I mean, just in this last week or so, we've had these solar flares have been coming at the Earth. And every so often the Earth gets a periodical, probably every 150 or 100 years, it gets a major solar flare, hits the Earth, that knocks out all the electronics. Our lives depend upon the farmers getting their crops in. And you know these old tractors that they used to use in the old days, you know. Talk about reliable, and you could fix it with a hairpin and a thing of duct tape and a screwdriver. You could fix the thing and get it out there and start working the crops again. What do they got now? These big combine machines and stuff, you know, that get satellite navigation, heated seats and everything. You don't need all that garbage. Same thing with the cars. They're doing exactly the same thing. Heated seats, power door lock, power anti-lock brakes, and rear view mirror, rear backup lights, and all this garbage they're putting on our stuff is all about one thing: planned obsolescence. They want to make it so that you not only cannot repair it yourself, but it has a time limit of how long it's going to last. So you'll have to go out and buy new. And keep this perpetual cycle going. They've worked a perpetual cycle into the financial system now, too. That we always have to keep creating more and more money or more and more debt, which is more and more credit. And they're just, where they're going to go with this is they're just going to keep adding zeros. What kind of a position does this put people who are out there who are trying to save? Well, the answer is savers are going to get cut to pieces. So we got a statement here. One of the big executives, J.P. Morgan. Let me see here what it says. I gotta go up, scroll up. Big executive J.P. Morgan, and J.P. Morgan icon quits, and he has some parting words about cryptocurrencies. It says, for the better part of the past decade, Wall Street traders would end their week with at least one casual glance at J.P. Morgan's closely followed cross-asset report, written each week by the bank's top ex-asset strategist, John Norman. But not anymore. As Norman wrote in his May 21st note published last Friday, this is my last research note and video. I am moving on after 24 years. So what did he say about cryptocurrencies here? You know, I guess this is part in statements. Let me see. It's a long article, guys. I had it here. Okay, a little bit difficult finding it. Okay, he said, if, however, one's risk scenario is of the Thunderdome variant, characterized by the simultaneous collapse of a currency and its payment system. You know what? That's exactly right. That's what we're headed toward. The simultaneous collapse of a currency and its payment system. He says then that there is no better hedge than private digital money, in other words, cryptocurrencies. If that's what you're expecting. I don't see any other place for this to go. Because the collapse, if they don't sustain the monetary supply, if they don't keep getting deeper and deeper in debt, if they don't keep borrowing money and keep bailing out everything, then it's going to collapse in the opposite direction in a more frightful way than it would collapse if they keep adding zeros. So yeah, they're going to keep adding zeros. And eventually what's going to happen is we're going to get to a point where people are just going to see their dollars evaporating in purchasing power, and they're going to start to look for hedges. And this is what's driven Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies up to where they are now. This is also what's moved gold up. Gold is like, I had to remove tree stumps, you know, when I was a younger guy. You know, I used to go out and used to dig out tree stumps and out of the ground, and they can be ferociously difficult to get a tree stump out of the ground. You can have a taproot down in the ground there. And that's what gold and silver's like. It's like they got a taproot down and they don't want to go up in price. You know, and that taproot is these paper derivatives products that represent the real physical asset or real physical metal. It's like it's been holding the price down. But still, even with that there, because of the inflationary pressures, we've watched the price of silver come up from like $13.80 over the last couple years. Not that long, just in a couple years. And we've seen it come up to $27, $28, with a very high premium on it. So even though it's stuck in the ground with a taproot, by the way, there's a lot of pressure on that taproot. I think we're going to hear a snapping sound pretty soon because of all the pressure on that taproot. It's the same thing when a dentist pulls your tooth, it's the same idea, He'll be pulling and pulling, and all of a sudden you hear a snap and a crunch, and out comes the tooth. Pops right out then, because it's lost that thing that's holding it down. That's the way with gold and silver. They're getting ready to break loose. I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure on the root that's holding them down. Anyway, what happens when all the world tries to find a hedge? This is what we could be rapidly approaching, is a period in time where the whole world starts to realize that these fiat currencies are losing value really fast and they need a hedge. And it is impossible to save any longer. Did you know portfolio and asset managers and stuff like that out there right now, in their portfolios, they got like 30% in cash right now, 40% in cash, 50% in cash. It's never been higher. They're scared. They're keeping their powder dry right now, a lot of them. And I'm going to tell you something, that even though that's not the way they should be going, right now in the environment out there, there's an awful lot of fear in the financial system right now. The fear that it's going to collapse into a deflation. Also fear among others, a whole other group is frightened that it's going to go off into hyperinflation. Nobody knows which way to turn. And capital is looking for the next big thing where they can make money. I'll tell you, right now, this is a very strange time in the world that we're going through right now. And, when they buy up all of the gold and silver, which is, I think, going to be an eventuality, that they're going to purchase up all of the physical, especially in silver. And there's not going to be any to be obtained. In other words, I think we're heading toward a silver shortage. When that day comes, there's going to be enormous amounts of money sitting on the sideline. Think about all these guys who've got like 30%, 40%, 50% in cash. There's going to be a tremendous amount of money sitting on the sidelines with no place for it to go, because it's not going to be able to go into precious metals anymore. You're going to be unable to buy it. Period. End of story. Unless you want to pay triple or quadruple the price that it's going for. In other words, a 500% premium or something like that. You just ain't going to get any. You know where these guys are going to turn? Cryptos. They're going to turn into cryptos. And all that money is going to pour into cryptos. Only for the reason that it can't pour into gold and silver any longer, because you can't buy it. And of course, nobody wants to buy it in the form of SLV or GLD, unless you're stupid. They'll pour the money too into the miners. An awful lot of profit to be made in things like junior miners and stuff like that, but that's risky. It's risky, but risk versus rewards. The same way with cryptocurrencies. We saw that risk right now in the cryptocurrency space, and the fact that Bitcoin dropped by half. In other words, if you invested your money and Bitcoin was over $60,000, right now you've lost half of your money. But where's it going? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I look at this very seriously, what's happening in the crypto space right now. And I think to myself, hey, this is just a correction in a bull market. Because there's no real reason out there that the cryptos should have fell by half. With all this liquidity floating around the system, the dollar doesn't look like it's in any better shape than it was looking before. An awful lot of fear spread through the system of deflation. That's because there's an awful lot of word of deflation going out there. It doesn't mean there's any real deflationary pressures of any magnitude. with all this liquidity floating around. And I just have the tendency to think that this has pretty much played its way out right now in the crypto space. I don't see cryptos moving down really fast, Then again, too, I don't really see them catching a bid all that fast right now either. I think cryptos is more likely to heat up in the next few months rather than a break to the downside, you know. And so I think cryptos ultimately is going to be a huge winner in all of this, this death. What Jim Rickards has penned in his books, The Death of Money. Well, he's talking about, he doesn't mean money as in gold and silver. He means money as in cash and fiat currencies. That's what he's talking about, money, the death of money. For all these countries out there, over the past little while, it's been just a race to the bottom, They all trying to weaken their currencies,